So 11.5 goes over squares of binomials. You're going to use two formulas when you're working with these types of problems. You're going to be given a binomial squared, and that binomial is going to either have a subtraction sign between the two terms or an addition sign between the two terms. If it has an addition sign between the two terms, you are going to use the formula a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. If it has subtraction between the two terms, you're going to use a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Again, like we did in the lesson before this, your a is the first term in the binomial, your b is the second term in that binomial. So if we look at example 1, we're writing each square as a trinomial. So with a, we have x plus 3 squared. Your a from this one is x, your b is 3. Because there's addition there, we're going to use a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. We plug these values in. We're going to have x squared plus 2 times x times 3 plus 3 squared. The x squared is x squared. 2 times x times 3 is 6x, and 3 squared is 9. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 9. For example B, we have 7x minus 3 squared. Our a is going to be the 7x, the b is going to be the 3. You have a negative between these two, so you're going to use a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. That a squared is going to be 7x to the second power, minus 2 times a, which is 7x, times b, which is 3, plus 3 squared. The 7x to the second power is 49x squared. Negative 2 times 7x times 3 is negative 42x, and 3 squared is a positive 9. So we have 49x squared minus 2x plus 9. For example C, we have 4x minus 5y squared. So our a is the 4x, our b is the 5y. We're going to do we're going to use the formula a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, since we have a negative between those two terms. So we're going to have 4x raised to the second power minus 2 times 4x times 5y plus 5y raised to the second power. The 4x to the second power is 16x squared. Negative 2 times 4x times 5y is going to be a negative 40xy. And then 5y squared is 25y squared. So 16x to the fourth power minus 40xy plus 25y squared. Example D, we have 3p squared minus 2q squared, all raised to the second power. For this one, your a is a 3p squared, your b is the 2q squared. You're going to use, because there's a negative, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Your a, we said, was the 3p squared. So this is going to be 3p squared raised to the second power minus 2 times 3p squared. Your b is the 2q squared, so we're going to put that in. And then do the 2q squared raised to the second power. So the 3p squared raised to the second power is 9p to the fourth power. The negative 2 times 3p squared is negative 6p squared, times 2q squared is negative 12p squared q squared. And then the 2q squared raised to the second power is 4q to the fourth power. So we have 9p to the fourth power minus 12p squared q squared plus 4q to the fourth power. For our next part within this lesson, we're just working backwards with these now. So these are given to us as a perfect square trinomial, and then we are just going to factor it. When you look at these, easiest way to do it is if you can realize that your first term and your last term you can take the square root of. If you take the square root of those and multiply those two together and multiply by 2, it'll give you the term in the middle. If that's the case, then you can factor it using the perfect square trinomial method. For a, we have 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. We see that a would be the square root of that 4x squared. B would be the square root of the 25. So your A is 2x, your B is 5. The sign for the middle term is negative, so if we do negative 2 times 2x times 5, it should give us negative 20x, which in this case it does. So because it is the same, we can just take A minus B and square it. So that's going to be 2x minus 5 squared. For example B, we have 64x squared plus 72xy plus 81y squared. So if we find A by taking the square root of 64x squared and find B by taking the square root of 81y squared, this is going to give us an A of 8x and a B of 9y. The sign for the middle term is positive, so if we do positive 2 times 8x times 9y, we should get the 72xy if this is a perfect square trinomial. If we are to multiply these, the 8 times 9 times 2 gives us 144. And then that xy stays with it. These two numbers are not the same. So because they are not the same, you cannot factor this. You can just write that it's prime. For example, from this section, we have 49a squared plus 28ab plus 4b squared. So our a is going to be, we're going to get by taking the square root of 49a squared, which gives us 7a. Our b, we take the square root of 4b squared, we get 2b. Our sign for our middle term is positive, so if we do positive 2 times 7a times 2b, the 2 times 2 is 4 times 7 is 28ab. That is the same exact thing as that middle term, so we can factor this using a plus b squared. Our a we said was 7a. Our b we said was 2b. So that's just 7a plus 2b all raised to the second power. For example, D, we have 9u squared plus 30uv plus 100v squared. So I'm going to find A by taking the square root of 9u squared, that's 3u. We find B by taking the square root of 100v squared, which is 10v. From here, you have addition in the middle, so it's going to be a positive 2 times 3u times 10v. That gives us 60uv. 60uv is not equal to 30uv, so this is prime.